For decades, the Carter empire has towered over pop culture like a skyscraper, platinum plaques, business deals worth billions, and a carefully polished family image. Until a crackle of leaked audio threatened to shatter the glass. In the recording, a woman widely believed to be Beyoncé's mother, Tina Knowles, coolly warns a 30-something New Jersey man named Rymir Satterthwaite, "We shut this down once, we'll do it again." The target of that warning claims he's Jay-Z's eldest child, conceived long before the glittering red carpets and Grammy stages, and he says he has spent half his life begging for a single DNA swab. If the test ever happens, the fallout could torch reputations, carve a new branch onto hip-hop's most glamorous family tree, and spark a courtroom drama unlike anything the culture has seen since Michael Jackson faced paternity questions of his own. But before we decide who's bluffing, we have to rewind to a cold night in 1992, where an underage romance allegedly set off a 3-decade chain reaction of sealed court files, drive-by threats, and whispered favors in high places. Buckle up, the next few minutes could change the way you look at the House of Carter forever. Next up, the lawsuit that keeps crawling back from the grave. On July 14, 2025, a federal judge in Newark refused to slam the door on Rymir's latest complaint, writing that the filing states a plausible claim and may proceed to discovery. Translation: after 12 years of procedural hopscotch through family court hallways, the paternity question is finally crawling toward a real evidentiary phase. Jay-Z's attorneys immediately branded the suit fabricated and part of a decades-long harassment campaign, urging dismissal to spare the mogul irreparable reputational harm. To outside observers, the clash feels lopsided. One side commands billion-dollar cash reserves and a legal A-team famous for delaying unwelcome subpoenas. The other works a 9-to-5 in South Jersey and crowdsources filing fees. Yet each time clerks stamp another closed on the docket, Rymir refiles, persistence the Carter camp now calls stalking. Meanwhile, social media poured gasoline. Rap provocateur 50 Cent screenshotted the judge's order with a gleeful caption, "A good lawyer knows the law. A great lawyer knows the judge." Minutes later, Nicki Minaj amplified the post to her 200 million plus followers, muttering about a looming Rock Nation Rico. The hashtag JayZDNA test shot to the top of X worldwide, a reminder that one court hearing can morph into a spectator sport when billionaires are involved. But to grasp why this fight is so radioactive, we have to trace its roots to a North Philly block, where a teenager named Wanda Satterthwaite says she met a hustling rapper in oversized Timberlands. According to sworn statements filed in early 2000s family court records, Wanda was 15 when she crossed paths with 22-year-old Sean Carter at a house party in West Philadelphia. 3 months later, she told friends she was pregnant. The timeline would place the child's birth in July 1993, the same summer In My Lifetime mixtapes began sliding through East Coast barbershops. Because Wanda was legally a minor, lawyers today whisper that a DNA confirmation could complicate the rapper's public record in ways far uglier than simple child support. Statutory crime questions, inheritance battles, and brand-destroying headlines all loom like thunderclouds. Yet back then, the claim barely flickered on industry radar. By 2000, Jay-Z had catapulted into mainstream superstardom, and a Philadelphia family judge tossed Wanda's petition for paternity on jurisdictional grounds without ordering genetic testing. When Wanda died in 2016, her son vowed to finish the mission. Rymir insists, "I'm not asking for bread. I just want the truth." His legal filings repeatedly request only one remedy: a court-supervised cheek swab. That simplicity, ironically, fuels conspiracy chatter. Why, skeptics ask, would a mogul with nothing to hide spend millions blocking a 90-second test? Perhaps the answer hides in what happened every time the young man inched closer to courtroom victory. As the lawsuit lurched forward, Rymir says the phone in his pocket morphed into a portable threat box. Unknown numbers rattled off warnings, "Drop it or regret it." Shortly after a 2024 news burst about his filing, security cameras caught headlights sweeping his lawn at 4 a.m., a sedan idling on the grass before peeling off. Things escalated that September. Leaving a late shift job, Rymir found his Honda Civic riddled with bullets. Every other vehicle in the lot sat untouched. 2 weeks later, police arrested him after discovering a handgun under the driver's seat. A weapon, he says, someone planted while he visited a convenience store. Former Rockefeller artist Oshino doubled down on the claim during a podcast, alleging Jay first tried to pay silence money, then made wild moves when the offer was refused. Dr. Lily Coley, Rymir's longtime guardian, told Hip Hop News Uncensored that unknown cars tailed her through suburban cul-de-sacs and even mounted the curb toward her porch. She frames the suit not as a payday, but as a test of whether America's legal system protects ordinary citizens from billionaire pressure. Enter Beyoncé's mother wielding maternal loyalty, and critics argue verbal brass knuckles. The leaked call that rocked gossip blogs allegedly captures Tina Knowles, labeling Rymir a problem that needs to go away, and boasting about friends in Jersey who owe her favors, an apparent nod to the very courthouse where the paternity saga drags on. She reminds the listener that sealed records can vanish inconvenient truths. Fans were stunned, but not entirely shocked. Twice in 2024, Tina jumped onto Instagram to clap back at anyone invoking Jay-Z's indiscretions, from elevator brawls to rumored extracurriculars, sometimes harder than Beyoncé herself did. During the Lemonade fallout, she famously captioned a Father's Day post, "Everyone makes mistakes, growth is the message." Critics read that as downplaying serial affairs that humiliated her daughter on global television. Colorism accusations soon resurfaced. In voice coach David Lee Brewer's memoir, he quotes Tina calling early Girls' Time member Ashley Tamar Davis too dark and ugly for Destiny's Child's image, charges both Tina and Beyoncé's camp deny. Still, hashtags like #matriarch or mob boss trended for days, illustrating how quickly the matron's reputation wobbled under renewed scrutiny. Defenders argue Tina's ferocity springs from a mother's instinct to protect family legacy. Detractors see a pattern of intimidation echoing the most ruthless Hollywood crisis management playbooks. Either way, the Knowles matriarch isn't the only one accused of flexing legal muscle. Frustrated by docket detours, Rymir filed a civil complaint accusing 6 New Jersey judges of conspiring with Jay-Z's team to keep the case in limbo. The suit cites property deeds allegedly proving the rapper owns real estate in the state, contradicting earlier sworn statements that he had no New Jersey footprint, a key question for jurisdiction. Jay-Z's lawyers dismissed the corruption claim as fantasy, pointing out that multiple prior courts rejected Wanda's story on technical grounds. Still, discovery could yank those deed records into daylight, revealing whether misstatements actually occurred or whether the accusations amount to legal Hail Marys. Complicating matters, New Jersey family law states that if a presumed father refuses testing, courts may infer paternity. Rymir's camp argues that Jay's years of non-compliance effectively make him the legal dad already, an argument that, while rarely enforced, keeps headlines buzzing. Meanwhile, time equals leverage. Each month of delay bleeds travel funds from a working-class plaintiff, while allowing a billionaire to stack new corporate wins. Observers call it a classic illustration of how the scales of justice tilt when one side can afford armies of billable hours. But no high-profile lawsuit stays in a vacuum, especially when rap's favorite instigators jump into the comments section. Minutes after the July discovery order surfaced online, 50 Cent fired off a meme, a cotton swab glowing like a time bomb with the caption, "Tick, Tock." The post racked up 1 million views before Jay-Z's team even filed its rebuttal. Nicki Minaj, still feuding with Roc Nation after contract disputes, reposted 50's screenshot and mused, "Is this why he was trending? To God be the glory." Fans interpreted the sanctified sign-off as tongue-in-cheek shade, lighting up comment threads with theories of an incoming federal probe. A rumor Nicki stoked by tweeting RICO season approaching. Though no RICO indictment materialized, the noise pushed mainstream outlets to recap the paternity suit for audiences who hadn't cared since TMZ covered it in 2015. Tina Knowles responded indirectly, sharing a fan-made montage of her daughters and captioning, "Feels good to wake up knowing my faves didn't lose their minds." Critics saw a subtweet aimed at Nicki's timeline assaults. Tina later claimed the post was generic motivation, but screen recordings ensured the damage was done. On YouTube, soul singer Jaguar Wright uploaded a 20-minute rant alleging Tina practically sold Beyoncé to the industry, and even insinuated that Tina had her own past entanglements with Jay-Z, extreme claims Wright admits she cannot prove. Mainstream journalists flagged her video as rumor. Piers Morgan actually cut similar allegations from his talk show after receiving a legal letter from the Carters. As the discourse spiraled, a quieter but equally potent legal tool emerged: the non-disclosure agreement. When Tina finalized her 2024 divorce from actor Richard Lawson, leaked court paperwork showed a clause forbidding Lawson from publicly disparaging Beyoncé, Sean Carter, or any Carter-Knowles minor. Critics howled, "Why the gag order if there's nothing to hide?" Supporters countered that high-profile families routinely shield children from ex-step-parents' memoir deals. NDAs aren't new to the Carters. Former Rockefeller employees have hinted at lifelong confidentiality pacts. Even party caterers reportedly signed boilerplate promises never to discuss guest lists. Lawyers call it prudent brand management. Skeptics call it hush money by another name. But legal chokeholds sometimes backfire in the court of public opinion. Each sealed deposition fuels the narrative that wealth buys invisibility, prompting watchdog groups to push for pro-C abuse legislation that would cap delays in paternity cases. Dr. Coley says she's already lobbying New Jersey lawmakers to close loopholes exploited by deep-pocket defendants. Whether the bill gains traction could hinge on how viewers, people like you, react to tales of underdogs versus billionaires. Which brings us back to the simplest question of all. Will the swab ever touch skin? If a laboratory vial someday confirms Rymir Satterthwaite is Sean Carter's firstborn, hip-hop history books will need new chapters. A son conceived when the rapper was barely known would suddenly own a share, at least morally, of everything Rock Nation built. Beyoncé's pristine family portrait gains another face. Blue Ivy, Rumi, and Sir discover an elder brother. And Tina Knowles confronts the optics of defending a son-in-law who stonewalled her grandchild. If the test proves otherwise, critics must reckon with years of online harassment aimed at the Carters, and Rymir must confront the possibility that grief over his mother's death blurred the line between rumor and reality. Either outcome ignites difficult conversations about power, money, and how far people will go to protect a legend. For now, the cotton swab sits in limbo, tiny yet explosive, waiting for one billionaire to decide whether transparency is more valuable than control. Until that day, every leaked phone call, every late-night Instagram post, and every bullet in a parking lot sedan keeps this saga alive. Proof that in 2025, the line between family secret and global headline is just one DNA test away. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss any upload of every celebrity gossip. And if you think this story can't get wilder, remember, discovery hasn't even started yet.